This is my life. This is my passion. This is Ike's Outdoors. Hey guys, Ike here from Ike'sOutdoors.com. I'm here with my wife and we're doing the final episode of Project Lindsay. This is part 4 in this episode, and this one we're basically going to go over how she's going to set in a tree stand and the gear that she's going to be using. So basically I'm going to give her some pointers that I've learned over the years. First thing you'll notice is she's got a safety harness on here. Get familiar with this safety harness. I've got one on as well. Mine's a Hunter Specialty. You can see mine. It just clips up just like this. I said Hunter Specialty. It's a Hunter Safety System. Mine just clips on just like that. Pretty easy to put on. Everything's set for me, so pretty easy to put on. The one Lindsay's wearing is a little bit more complicated. It took us a little bit to figure out how to get it on. So become familiar with these things, and familiar especially with the safety aspect of it, because when you fall, you run a risk of cutting off circulation to your leg. It can actually kill you. So become familiar with one, how to put it on, and you'll see you've got a lineman belt hook up here, and you got your tree belt in the back, and we'll go from there on discussing how to hook it up. But mine has, right here, it has a suspension relief, and it's also a deer drag. What I can do with this is when I fall, I can actually hook this up to my back. I can put this under my legs, and I can actually lift up with it, and it'll help me take some tension off of my legs. Now mine goes right here in my pocket. Lindsay's has one right here, strapped right there. You can pull that out, and it's basically going to be the same situation, same setup. That's going to go underneath you. If you need to suspend yourself, you can wrap this around something. You can put this underneath your butt, back of your thighs, and you can use this to lift up on yourself. So this one isn't quite as easy to hook up as mine is, so you're going to want to get familiar with that and how to actually hook this up, where it's located on a tree as well. Some of these, instead of having this, will actually have a knife. It'll have a small little blade on it. I've got one that's got it hooked on the shoulder, and it's got a small little blade on there. It's for cutting, like you'd see firemen carry to cut seat belts. And you can actually get yourself in a position, and you can actually cut that line and let yourself fall. So I like that better than the suspension.
Just curious, why would you do that if your tree harness is supposed to keep you from falling? Why would you want to fall?
Well, your tree harness isn't necessarily to keep you from falling, it's to keep you from falling in an awkward position.
I see.
Because, I mean, I could jump out of one of my tree stands and probably not hurt myself, not kill myself. I can probably hurt myself, but if I can control my fall, I can land on my feet, and I can fall in a clear path, then I'm probably going to be all right. But if I fall out and I go head first, I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to get hurt bad. And if I don't control what I hit on the way down, I'm going to get hurt bad. So if I've just got a suspension and I've got a knife on my side, if I'm suspended there and I feel the circulation cutting off to my legs,
and it's getting to that emergency situation.
That's right. Then I can actually just take my knife off of my side, reach up and cut my harness. You know, it's going to take a while. It doesn't take long for that to cut off, but after a while using one of these, you're going to get tired. You're not going to be able to hold yourself up.
I mean,
so if you cannot get yourself back up in the tree safely, the best thing to do is look down. With this and my, say, 15-foot tree stands, you're only going to have about a 10-foot drop. So you'll have a nice clear path below you. You know, you can brace yourself, you can ready yourself, reach up with your knife, and actually cut that strap holding you to the tree, and you can fall down and land on your feet. So that'll help you in that aspect of, these will help you to keep yourself from getting, you know, that restriction to your legs. But if you get in a situation where you feel like you've got to cut it,
it's dying.
Then that's why I always have a knife on my side.
That makes sense.
I always have a knife on my pack, and I always have a knife on my side. So the next thing about your safety harness is, where do you want to hook this thing up? You can see on mine, I hate wearing a safety harness. I've never wore one in the years past. You guys have seen my videos, and I've actually had a lot of you guys
Chastise.
get on me about not wearing safety harness. I just don't like them. So what I've added to mine is I've added an extension to mine. I have a part in my somewhere in my bag that hooks and wraps around a tree, just like this piece here. And I've got this extension here, and I actually hook it right to it, so I've got an extension, and it lays down beside me. It doesn't get me in a bind. And what this is this is a 400-pound rated secure line with a hook on both ends. And I tested this out before I used it and made sure it's going to hold my weight, and I like it. I like it a lot better than just using the short line, because it seems to be always getting tangled up in it, and I'm always getting in the way. So I've added a little bit of an extension to mine, and no, I don't recommend you guys do this, because I don't want any of you falling out of a tree and having this hurt you. So I don't recommend you guys do it. It's just something I did to mine. And I actually set mine about waist height because I have that extension on. With yours, you're going to want to read the recommendations on these tree belts. But I like to set, with one like this, I like to set it up about head level when I'm standing up. So you're just going to reach up there while you're standing and hook this thing up to the tree, good and tight. And this is a really poor tree stand setup. We just didn't want to have to go out and do a complete setup since it is hunting season. Right there, set that up about head height, good and tight. And then when you sit down, you should be able to feel a little bit of tension on it. So go ahead and sit down. You should be just about like that, and then that way when you stand up, it's got some slack in it and you've got some freedom of movement. This tree ain't really great, and this, like I said, this safety harness ain't really great either. But that's how you should be setting it up, is about like that, so you've got freedom of movement both directions. Another thing that we've got set up here, now that we're done talking about the safety harness, you have any questions about the safety harness?
That was my only, about the whole cutting it thing. But, I mean, you explained that very well. But, this is pretty self-explanatory. It's nice because for dummies like me, it's got them labeled. Where to put your arms, where to put your legs, and
most of these are going to come with a DVD.
Right.
When you buy a tree stand, it's going to come with a DVD. The Hunter's safety system came with a DVD showing me exactly how to use it, and use their recommendations. Don't use mine, because like I said, I'm not the type of guy that wears a safety harness all the time. So, but I've been doing really good this year. I've wore it every time I went, except for one. So, and I just forgot it at that point. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about here is the actual setup when we're in the stand. And I'm going to get up and walk around a little bit during this, so you're going to lose sight of me in this portion of it. I always put 2 bow hangers, and these are just cheap little bow hangers that I bought at Walmart. They didn't have any of the actual green ones, so I went to the hardware section and picked up a few of these. These are just bicycle hangers, and they're 97 cents. The ones that they sell in the hunting section are 97 cents as well. I kind of like these a little bit better because they got the deeper groove in them and a little bit more secure than the ones for hunting just come straight out and have a little knob on them. So I always hang my bow on my left side. That way I can reach back with my left hand and I can just grab my handle.
Makes minimal movement, doesn't
That's right, yeah. And 9 times out of 10, I've got my bow in my lap when I'm in the tree stand. I'll have it setting just like that with my arrow on there, and I'll have it setting just like this. And I've got my place board on here as well. It's getting in the way a little bit, but when I set up my hanger, because there's times you're going to want it to be hanging up, I set it on my left hand side, just like that. That way I can reach with my left hand and I can pick it up really easy too. And when I set it up to where it's just about head height when I'm sitting down. So it's a little bit above my head when I'm sitting down, and that makes it pretty even with my handle, pretty even with my hand, so I can just reach right around and I can grab it there. I know this may not be the preference that some people use, but this is what I like to use. I put it on my left hand side, and I always either hang it on the bottom of that teardrop or I hang it here, just whatever makes the most sense. I avoid hanging it like this because I don't want to take a chance of that string and that cam that bow hanger getting up in between there. So I never hang it like that. I always kind of like to hang it by the limbs themselves because it seems to put the the riser a little bit better out there to get it away from the tree. And I use my actual bow finger to keep it away from the tree too, because if you don't have that there, it's still not too bad.
Yeah.
Still pretty easy to get to. And I set it that way with my quiver out. You know, you can set it with the quiver in.
It's personal preference. I mean,
Yeah,
whatever.
you can set it with the quiver in, but it just, to me, you reach back now and get it with your left hand. You've got to try to swing it and turn it. So I don't really like that. This bow is beat up. But that's the way I like it, just about head height when I'm sitting down, and I like to hang it just like that so I can reach it with my left hand. Now, the bag, you'll notice we're going to cover a couple different types of backpacks. This is my pack that I hunt with every day. When I get to the tree stand, I'll set it about hip height with me standing up, and that puts it just about below my shoulders when I'm sitting down. And I like to set it on my right hand side, because most of the time when I'm grabbing stuff out of it, I'm grabbing it with my right hand. So when I get to my tree stand, the first thing I'll do, I've got this main pocket. It's got pretty much everything I need accessible right now while I'm hunting in here. So I'll have this main pocket. This bottom pocket's got stuff that I need accessible to get in and out of the tree stand, like my rope, different stuff like that, and I got scents on the side. But this main pocket's got everything I need to get right now. So as soon as I get to the tree stand, I'll actually unzip this thing. And the cool thing about it is I only unzip it about halfway down on each side.
It's nice, just like a little pocket.
You've got several little pockets right here. So if you need to reach in and get your rangefinder, it's right there on top.
Very easy.
Very quiet too.
Very quiet.
And if you need to reach in and get your grunt, I got Lindsay's binoculars in here. Grabbed them the other day. I don't like wearing the harness while I'm actually hunting, bow hunting, just because it gets in the way. It's just another thing to have on my body. So I get my binoculars in there. I've also got things like my makeup in there. I got my field log in there that if I get bored and I want to write my field log, or I want to play with my makeup, you know, I can do stuff like that. But the stuff that I want to have easily accessible is right here in this pocket. Now, I'll have that one unzipped while I'm hunting, and I'll also have this back pocket unzipped, this big one unzipped while I'm hunting as well. And I'll have it about halfway open just like that too. In case I get cold, I can reach right in there and get my jacket. And I always carry an extra jacket with me, because you never know when the temperature is going to drop. So I always keep that right there. A little bit, like I said, just about waist high when I'm sitting down. It's a little bit below my shoulders on my right hand side. Just like that, so I got easy access to everything. Now, if you're using a different pack, if you're using a fanny pack, you can do one of two things. You can set this up higher and you can hang your fanny pack from it, but I don't like that because it's going to actually really give you a chance to dump stuff out. Another thing you can do with your fanny pack, you can actually, this is one of the things I like about a fanny pack, you can actually wrap it around the tree, hook it up, cinch it down, and then it'll sit right there for you. And do the same thing, open your top there, and you can get into
I like that. That's
whatever you need. But make sure to cinch it down tight when you get there.
Otherwise we'll slide around.
Yeah, and this is Lindsay's package. She's got a backpack top part of it too, but this is just her fanny pack section of it.
It's a very good tip.
So yeah, you can actually take that and put it right there where it's easy to get to as well. And then when you're ready to leave, all you got to do is zip it up, unhook it, and you're ready to go. So another thing I want to talk about real quick while you guys who are filming, I've also got I've got a bow finger on my camera, on my bow with a camera on it that I use as well. I'll use this exact same setup for filming, and what I'll do, I've got my pack here, and I've got everything set up for it. Where I put my camera arm is on my right hand side. Between my bow and have my safety harness way up there. But I always put it on my right hand side, and I put it just about like that. It's just a little bit above my pack, doesn't obstruct my pack, and I can get the camera plumb out of the way really easy. And that seems like a pretty good spot for my camera, because if I swing over and get my bow, I don't want to hit my bow on this camera arm. So when I set up my camera arm, which is kind of rare these days, I set it up on my right hand side about head level with me setting down. Basically in between these two hooks, I'll strap it in, and I'll point my camera at wherever I think I'm going to get a shot. And if I don't want to do that, I can actually extend this thing out and I can turn it right back at me, and I can actually film myself hunting, or film myself taking the shot. So I can put it over here on this right hand side, extend it out, and point it right back like that, and it's way out here and not in my way. I actually had my camera arm set up a few years ago like that, and a big 6-point came in, and he was on this side, and I wanted to shoot him, and when I extended my bow out, I tried to actually push this out of the way, and I made so much noise doing it I scared the deer off. So if you want to film yourself, you can set this thing out here just like that, pointing back at you, and it's out of the way. And if you want to point it at a trail, you can do the same thing. You can point it right there at the trail, and if a deer comes in, great. If you don't capture it, you know, I've been lucky one time and got that actually set up perfect, and then I missed the deer. But so that's how I set my camera arm up as well. And all this stuff that we've got set up here, the biggest tip that I can give you is there anything in this thing, in this bag, you don't know how to operate?
No.
And that's the biggest thing. You gotta, if you're gonna use a rangefinder, use your rangefinder before season. Safety harness, if you're gonna be using this safety harness, use this safety harness before season. Become familiar with it. Yeah, especially one like this. My hunter safety system, I got the tree stalker, easy to put on. You know, I made a couple modifications to it, but that's my own personal choice to do that. But really easy to put on. If you're using something like this that comes from the factory with a tree stand that you've bought, definitely get to know it, and definitely watch the DVD that comes with it. But that's basically my setup when it comes to tree stand. Have you got any questions about tree stand hunting?
I know we talked a little about angle of the shot on shot placement in our shot placement video. I know from some of your previous videos to make sure you cut a nice what's it called?
Shooting lane.
Shooting lane, yes. Cut a nice shooting lane. It's tree stand safety. I mean, putting this on it took 2 of us, but now I've got the kind of the logistics of it. Know how to.
Just kind of wanted to twist and all twisted up. We had to get it untwisted.
I don't know.
One thing I'll suggest too is we got a faked up tree stand set up here today. Get familiar with your tree stands as well. If you're going to be using a climber, get familiar with it. If you're going to be using a ladder stand, get familiar with it. And actually set them up and shoot out of them. If you have to take a target, if you're like me, I live in town and I can't shoot here in the backyard. I mean, it just isn't, I don't think it's even legal for me to do that.
I don't think so.
I can take it to my mother-in-law's house if you don't have the luxury of being able to do that. That's a nice thing about some of these targets, like Hips has a new target out called, I think they call it the 12 pack. It's a 12 by 12 target. Real small, real easy. Before season, go out to where you got your tree stand set up, take that small target with you, or even my regular Hips target's easy to carry.
It's got a handle.
Yeah, it's got a handle on it. I'll take my target out there to where one of my tree stands, and I'll take it and I'll set it up and just shoot with it. I'll shoot with this safety harness on and everything like that. Nice if you take a buddy with you so he can move the target around to different areas and get you familiar with shooting out of a tree stand. It'll also help you with that angle that we talked about. You know, knowing, okay, if the deer's 5 yards away, here's my angle on it. If the deer's 20 yards away, I'm getting pretty flat at that point, you know. So it'll also help you out getting used to shooting out of a tree stand at see what your different angles are. So I highly recommend you guys shoot out of your tree stands. Oh, they can't see this, can they?
No, probably not.
There's 2 dogs fighting out of it.
Oh, there was a question I had. Whenever you've got your harness on and you're climbing, do you have to have this hooked around the tree as you're climbing?
You have this. You can actually hook this up, and you've got 2 belts right here. And I actually have one for my hunter specialty or hunter safety system as well. You can actually hook up right here to these 2 climbers. It's called a lineman's belt. And as you're climbing, you can actually move it up, and you can set it up with. You can also have it set just like this and have it over your shoulder. And every time you climb up, you just have to move this up, tighten it down, and then climb some more. Now, I don't ever do that with mine. I mean, of course, I'm hunting 90% of the time out of either a ladder stand or something with a set of sticks. I've got myself set up where that's the way I am. And with a ladder stand, it's hard to move it. And with the climbing sticks, it's just hard to get it up around the climbing sticks. They have systems out there called fall arrest systems. You can actually make your own. I'm not going to make a video on that because I don't want someone trying it and getting themselves hurt. But you can actually establish, you take anyone who's familiar with climbing is be familiar with one of these systems because I use them all the time on climbing towers and stuff like that. Jim uses one, and he actually gave me one. You can stake a rope down to the ground and you can climb up your first time. You can use your lineman's belt, climb all the way up, and you can tie that rope off up there nice and tight. And a fall arrest system, it's basically got wheels in it and it's got teeth, and when you fall, those teeth will catch and lock you into position. And the nice thing about that is when you're going up, it'll just roll right up with you, but when you fall, it locks you into position, and then you can reach up and you can bump that button or bump the little trigger on it, and it'll actually let you fall for a little bit. That's another cool thing. Look into these fall arrest systems, because that's another cool way of getting yourself down. And I've got one I've set up. It's a homemade deal, and you can look into some climbing, talk to someone who's used to climbing, and they'll show you how to do it. My father-in-law or stepdad showed me how to do it. So, but that's another good way of getting in and out of a tree stand, because once you get there, you hook your tree belt, you take this, hook it right into that fall arrest system, and climb up, and the whole time you're climbing, you're never not secured to the tree. Now, if you get up 10 feet, 8 feet, whatever, and you fall, you're hooked to that thing.
Now, do you keep it hooked up whenever you're sitting there, or is it just for
yes,
going
when
up
when you get to your tree stand, you can actually, you have your rope above you, you can actually take that thing and slide it up, and it'll hold it right up there. So, and it's
market that as a hunting.
Oh, they do. There's tons of. We watched them at the ATA.
That's way up top.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was using. It was the same system that they've been using for climbing these towers. I don't know if mountain climbers use it or not, but I know my stepdad uses it climbing towers. It's the same system that they've been using forever. I've got the system that Jim used.
Yeah. And
all I've got to do is set that thing up, and if I fall, I just reach up and push this button, and it'll let me fall for so long, and then push the button until I work my way down. So that's a really good system. Now, you know, like I said, I'm not going to make a video showing how to do it because I don't want someone to get hurt trying to do my system. But there's fall arrest systems and stuff like that. We've seen a guy at the ATA. He got all the way to the top of the building, and he lets himself off of this thing, and he has got his set up with a deal he pulls here, and he just pulls it and works his way down at, you know, at a speed that's comfortable to him. So there are fall arrest systems that allow you to just walk to your tree stand, hook it up, climb up, and never be not secure.
So nice.
But that's pretty much it on how I set my tree stand up. You know, this is just a mocked up tree stand, but this is pretty much how I set my tree stand up and how I set my camera arm up. So if you guys got any questions about this, you can contact me on Facebook. You can also contact me at ikesoutdoors@yahoo.com. The contact us page on the website isn't working real well. It'll take you to Lindsay's email, and she'll forward that over to me. So for more product reviews, how-to videos, be sure to check out our website, ikesoutdoors.com.